Greetings. Welcome to Vet2Vet. I'm Conrad Kaskowski. I'm with the Plymouth American Legion, and with me is Dwayne Wick, and he's also with the American Legion, but he's also the county commander, so he kind of oversees all of the American Legion posts in Sheboygan County. And we're going to do something a little different. We have talked about the Veterans Administration, the Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs. Well, now we're going to give you another one. A lot closer to home. This is the County Veterans Service Office, and we got some news about it that Dwayne is going to tell you about, so you want to know, well, what is this all about now? Well, this all starts right after the Civil War, and there's a lot of veterans, of course, and, you know, Abraham Lincoln was trying to provide for them, and then gets assassinated, and they're trying to keep up with taking care of the veterans. So there was an organization called the Grand Army of the Republic, and these were veterans of the Civil War, and they took it upon themselves to take care of their fellow comrades, their families, and any other issues. And this kind of continued on for quite a while, went all the way through the Spanish-American War, and then into World War I. Although now, you know, they're becoming of age, so the American Legion then starts taking care of these issues themselves. And they started setting up what was called a service officer. And they were basically doing the same thing that they picked up from the Grand Army of the Republic veterans. And that was to assist their fellow veterans, their families in any way they could, and working through the federal government programs. Well, by the 1930s, this job becomes overwhelming because it's all voluntary, and that's fine, but times are tough, and to find the volunteers, and they could see that we got problems here. Well, they all got together and approached the Wisconsin legislature with this issue. And believe it or not, they listened. And as a result, in the 1932 is the very first act that allows the counties to provide a veteran service office. And that was a great assistance, because now and then later on the state mandates it to have this office, and they even made a law, and it states that the county board create the position of service office and elect from such office a veteran of a war who is engaged in the service of the United States to hold that office for a term. At that time it was 2 years, and since then that's been put away, and Dwayne will explain that part to you of our Sheboygan County service officers. So it has transgressed quite a bit. It will be talking a little bit about what they can do for you to help you through this huge bureaucracy. So, Dwayne, what is the latest news on our County Veterans Service Office?
All right, there's a lot of things going on down at the Sheboygan County Veterans Service Office. To begin with, they've moved out to 650 Forest Avenue in Sheboygan Falls in the industrial park. And this is a great improvement because they have easy access for people with disabilities. They're more room. It's right with the Aging Disability Resource Center, so it's right in that same building. Also, the Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs is also with them. They have a representative there. So they've combined all this stuff together, and it makes it very convenient and accessible in that way. With that, the phone number for contacting them has not changed. It's still 459-3053. And also the big change is the past county service officer, Charlene Cobb, has retired. And the assistant, Todd Richter, got that position. So Todd Richter is now the Veterans Service Officer there. They do have a change as far as fax number. If you want to fax some information to them, that new number is 920-467-4195. But for anything else, you call that the original 459 number that you have in the past, and you can get in contact with them. It will be on through their cell phone, but you still will be able to get a hold of them. And again, please call first before you go out there so that you can make sure that they aren't busy. They are actually down one person now, so it's critical that you make an appointment so that when you come in, you can talk with them and get your issues taken care of. As far as, you want to talk a little bit about the volunteers that they're looking for?
Well, as Dwayne said, they're down one person. Even with that person, they still get a considerable amount of phone calls that come in. And I know it's frustrating that when you call, no matter where you call, and you either get a voice jail, and then you said, well, nobody's ever going to call me back. Well, to eliminate that, kind of calling on to veterans to help veterans. And there's an opportunity coming very, very shortly. In fact, you can even call now and tell these folks you're interested. Answer phones. I mean, that sounds pretty simple, but that's all you'd have to do. You're not going to be giving any advice. You're not going to be directing them to any special phone number, any other place. You're just going to take down their question. Is there anybody special you want to talk to? Would it be Todd himself or Craig Stewart, who's working with Todd, or even maybe with Mark Preventure Jr. with the Department of Veterans Affairs? And then they'll leave them the message. And at least you get an opportunity to talk to a human being. And if you really want to do something to help out, that would be a great opportunity. Now, in the future, they're also planning, and this has been going on, but kind of more on a local basis. They want to set up a transport system. Now, you realize that it's kind of tough to get to some of these appointments, your doctor's appointment, your VA, even to Cleveland, Wisconsin, which is only a matter of about a 15-minute drive from Sheboygan. It can be tough. Well, there is a possibility now you might get it, but they're really going to expand it more, and they're looking for drivers. Your gas would get paid for, or in the availability of a county vehicle.
Right.
And I think they're all finally done with the Crown Vics. Crown Victorias, I think they're finally done with them. So now you probably be getting into the SUVs. Now how that's going to work for handicap veterans, I don't know. But this is going to be a great project. They're looking also to expand it not only to Cleveland, but they're hoping to go to Green Bay and or Milwaukee. Now the Disabled Veterans Association has vehicles. However, as usual, there's cutbacks within that organization, and they've kind of limited the pickup points, the days of the week, etc. And so, you have an appointment. Well, is that van available? Well, maybe not. Maybe you're going to have to call them back and say, hey, can we make it this time? Well, I don't know. And then so this is why they're trying to do. They're trying to help you out to get to these appointments and see what they can do for you. And Dwayne has something that's very local to talk about in the upcoming future.
Well, one of the things that Todd and Craig came up with was the commander's call, which some meetings that we've been having and trying to get all veterans together, just bringing ideas and all the different, be it VFW, Marine Corps League, any of these together. And some of the things that they've come up with in these meetings is they've talked about having a chili cook-off. And this would be something just, again, to get all the veterans together so that they can have a fun time, have this little kind of a competition maybe with the cook-off. It's, like I say, it'd be all different types of posts that would be interested in working together, but they would like to have a committee. And this is something that we have time to do yet because it's not something that they want to do until 2020. And, but they want to have a committee started now already to get together, come up with some ideas exactly how this will proceed and what they will do. So the committee that of, I believe, about 10, maybe 10 people at the most, then will make the decisions as to how they'll organize this and how it'll all develop. If you are interested in being on this committee, you can call Craig Stewart at the 920-459-3053 number, and that's, again, that same number that you would call when you want to contact the Veterans Service Office. So from this commander's call, some of these good ideas have come out. So we want to continue with those meetings. They will have another one coming up at the new VSO office in Falls, and that will be the June 5th at 6:30.
Also coming up in April, in fact, it'll be April 26th, right here in Plymouth at the, it's going to be called Generations Health and Wellness Fair. If you're familiar where the Generations building is, just north on the north side of Plymouth, it's going to be kind of an interesting thing for you. Not exactly veterans associated, but in case you have someone that I think what they're going to be doing is they're going to be setting up some different types of examinations for you. There'll probably be a cost involved somewhat, but again, the idea for Todd and Craig to do is try to get this information out that not only affects veterans but the community, because at times what's going on is the families of the veterans, they sometimes fall through the cracks, and maybe mom and dad, they qualify for the VA services, but the kids somehow, that gets to be even a bigger load of paperwork to try to figure out how to take care of them. So what we're trying to do in this segment is make you aware of what's available to you within your own community, especially here in the county. And anybody that has been to the old County Veteran Service Office, which I can still remember when I first arrived in Sheboygan County, it was in the basement of the courthouse, and in fact it was right next to the morgue, and it was a fairly cramped office. There was only 2 rooms. One was a very small office, and one was even smaller. Then they moved across the aisle or the alleyway, which made it kind of difficult for if you had a physical problem of getting
Right.
around. This one, I guarantee it, if you have any difficulties, you'll be well accommodated in that. So with that, Dwayne, I think we kind of covered what's available for our local veterans, and I hope that they take advantage of this. We always strongly recommend that. And to our 3 viewers that we know that watch us, thank you again. and we'll see you the next time around.